Denise and Lauren came onto the team after Denise's daughter and Lauren's cousin were diagnosed with Hodgkin's. Probably about over 5 now, over 5 years ago. So this was sort of their tribute to all the work that you guys have done along the way in raising money and funds. They wanted to give a little bit of something back. So without further ado, I'll introduce Denise to speak, and come on up, Lauren, too.
Yay! All right. So it was October of 2004. My daughter had just started a brand new high school. We were in the process of building our dream home. We had 2 other children who also had just started into the new school district, and Brittany had just turned 14. When she came into me at night with, "Mom, I found a lump." "Okay, hon, let's go to emergency. It's probably just a lymph node. They're going to give you some antibiotics. We're going to all sleep in the morning. You'll be fine." Unfortunately, that wasn't the story that was going to happen that night, and we found out that it was possibly lymphoma. So rather than being able to experience that year her first dance, her first prom, her first boyfriend, her first date, we had to experience her first PET scan, her first port, her first bone marrow, her first diagnosis, her first chemo, her first wig, her first radiation. But in the end, we got to experience her first cancer-free. She had to do 3 months of the chemo. She had to do 3 weeks of the radiation. It was tough on her. She was young. She had beautiful long hair, blonde, beautiful hair. And yes, she is my natural daughter. Things happen in genetics that I can't explain, which she lost. That was really tough for her. She ended up being home-schooled for that first year because she didn't want to be known as the girl who had cancer in her brand new high school. She was really angry during the whole process, and it wasn't until a year after she was cancer-free that she finally got to let down, because reoccurrence was no longer in the back of her mind. It reduces by 20%. Within the first year, there's a 20% chance of reoccurrence. Once she reached after that year, she finally was able to say, okay. So Lauren and I started talking about doing something like a marathon or half marathon or running in some way. And when I told Lauren that Team in Training honored lymphoma and leukemia, which is what Brittany had, she had Hodgkin's, she said, "Oh, Auntie, that's the one we have to do." So we agreed, we signed up, and we decided at that point that we were going to honor Brittany through the whole process. And it was the most awesome thing to put my page up on the very first day. They kind of spelled out the story of Brittany, which lots of our friends and family knew, but my phone was just ringing off the hook with donations. It was crazy. People were so incredibly generous to both of us. We were actually able to raise $8,900. With every donation that came across my phone, I would turn around and text Brittany and say, "Oh, we got another one." And she really got to get into it. It was so cool. So last weekend when we went to the race, it was an amazing experience because she got to be there. Lauren's parents were there. My husband was there. The other 2 kids were at home. But the whole weekend was dedicated to Brittany. And Saturday before the race, she tattooed us with our Sharpies. Mine's come off, but I used mine.
I have like 4.
So we had 5 for the 5 years. Although Brittany hasn't gone through her testing yet, she has to wait another month. It's been 5 years since end of treatment. And that was actually the same week that we ran, so it was very, very special. We had her name down our arms. So that morning when I got up, and she had sent me a little text, and here she is thanking us for honoring her, which, you know, when your kids have cancer or your family members have cancer, there's a lot you can't do for them. You can't take away their fears. You can't tell them it's all going to be okay. You can't tell them they're going to be cured, because there may be that percentage that don't. But this day, we could do something for her, and that was to totally honor her, which was amazing. It was just amazing. So I'm out there, and the race is about ready to start, and I look down at my arm, and I start welling up. And I thought, okay, this is not good. I cannot do this and run 13 miles, so I had to pack that away. And she gave me my big hug, Warren her big hug, and off we went. And the whole time I was running, it was amazing because I wasn't really thinking about my legs. I thought about my daughter the whole time. And she really kept me going. We had lost people to cancer, unfortunately, in our family, so Brittany was our first survivor. And the whole time I just kept running for her. And when I got close and I heard the roar of the crowd, I thought, okay, I think I can start to cry now. And so, as I'm crossing the finish line, I'm bawling like a baby. But it was the most amazing, amazing experience that I've had, because I saw my daughter's face on the sidelines with my husband, and I knew that I finally was able to do something for her, where she felt special. Cancer doesn't let you feel special. She did not feel special. She did not want to laugh. She didn't even want to talk about it, which was really hard for me because I needed to. But for her, we didn't. So after the race, and I was on my glow for so long, I think I still am a little bit. We go to the victory party, and Jason and Tamara and Chris all approached Brittany at different times. I think maybe together or at different times, however it was. But they asked her to be an honoree.
Oh.
Yay. And I held my breath because Brittany has never told her story. And she agreed.
Yay.
So I thank you guys so much, because I'm actually interested in her story. It'll be a whole different It'll be a whole different perspective. But so thank you guys for doing that, because I don't think you really realize what a huge step that is for her to take, and you guys opened the doors for her to take it. So I think it's going to be amazing. Bad news is I'll be running another marathon. I guess well, I guess I don't get to retire, but it'll be an even better experience, because somewhere I'll see her in the crowd. She will be way ahead of me. She's 19 now. She's taking really good care of herself. She went out running today. She's very excited about all this. So to all of you, I always felt really odd when the honorees would get up here and they would thank us for raising all the money and doing what we do, because I always felt like I wanted to thank everybody for what they do. Because if it weren't for people raising the money and doctors dedicating the time and pharmaceuticals coming up with the drugs and the treatments and all this, you know, I may not have my daughter. So when you're doubting yourself out on that track, doing your trainings and whatever, think of Britt and think of us and know that it is incredible the amount of money that gets raised from your friends and family, that you guys are willing to go out there and suffer yourself so that somebody else can have a chance at life or a better life. And I remember once, it was one Thursday, the nutritionist was there, and she had said that after you run, a real good recovery drink is chocolate milk. So Sunday we ran. So Monday for breakfast I had a McFlurry with M&Ms. And I felt really good. So I invite you all to a McFlurry after your run.